Good evening, everybody. Welcome along to this 30-minute broadcast here on nearmedia.tv. My name is Pat Barry, and I'll be with you, as I said, for the next half hour or so. We're just going to go through some headlines, news that's popular at the moment as well. We'll bring you some promotions as well and some information about programs coming up on our channel later on over the weekend and into next week as well. So stay tuned for that. I suppose the dominant political story at the moment that's going through the news channels, certainly around here and in this side of the world, is the leadership contest in the Tory party to replace Boris Johnson. I suppose it'd be notable to say that Boris Johnson himself was the Tory leader that made history, really, in the last election. One of the biggest majorities ever he delivered for that party in Britain. But alas, anyway, he's no more now. So there's a new leader. The field has been whittled down to 5 candidates in no particular order. And they had their first debate the other night on Channel 4, the 5 left standing. And one of them was Rishi Sunak, Penny Mordaunt, Liz Truss, Tom Tugendhat and Kemi Badenoch. Now, I suppose it's the difficulty for people is they're trying to, assimilate very quickly who would be best served to fight the next general election, which is always a game of predictability, and trying to predict that is always a tough one, I suppose. When they look across at the aisle in the House of Parliament and look at the Labour Party led by Keir Starmer, he'll be still there presumably for the next election to fight on behalf of the Labour Party. So there you go. And then you have the Liberal Democrats who could, they have a habit of every 3 or 4 elections in Britain of making a comeback. And the problem, I suppose, is for all the candidates themselves. Obviously, they're all in the same party. So it's going to be a difficulty to be too critical because of the fact that they hope to lead the party. So what they're like to say and what they will say is predicated on that, getting the support of the wider membership, because the way the voting is now, it's just the members of Parliament are voting to whittle down the candidates to 2, and then to go out to the generality of the membership of the Tory party to have the voting to decide between the final 2 candidates who command the most vote from the MPs, the members of Parliament. So to that end, Sunak is just over 100 of those, and Mordaunt is in second place, Truss is third, Kemi came in fourth, and Tom Tugendhat came in on fifth. So they're left standing. The next debate for that particular leadership will be on Tuesday night at 8 o'clock on Sky, which will be moderated by Kay Burley, a very seasoned broadcaster and doesn't suffer fools gladly. So it'll be interesting to see the contrast between the shocking, in my view, the shocking shambles of a program that Channel 4 put on. And it can be described as nothing else than that. 'Twas an embarrassment to broadcasting. 'Twas an embarrassment to Channel 4. 'Twas an embarrassment to the presenter. 'Twas an embarrassment to the candidates as well. And the questions were something like Ken that you get out of a juvenile class in national school. It was shockingly done. Very little research. I suppose if a candidate is running for the leader of a Labour Party, the first thing you'd expect them to be able to do is, if you ask them a question of 1 + 1, you presumably get the answer 2, something like that. And I suppose the question, if you have to ask a candidate, how would you describe a woman? Well, I think that question in itself to that candidate or candidates is simply out of order, really and truly. So this is the level of debate the general public, and of course we have no skin in the game, except it will affect us here on this island who is Prime Minister, but politically speaking, but we don't have any skin in the game. So we can look back and look at this and look at the way media is run today, which is the standards, there aren't any standards in many cases, as I said, and that's reflected in the Channel 4 programme on Friday night, which was just, to my mind, just an absolute shambles. Now, turning to our own in-house thing here, our own colleague here, Mary Hone, did an excellent interview with Debbie Deegan, and it's just gone up on all our platforms. And if you want to see any those programs, you can go onto our YouTube channel anytime and have a look at them. Now, some of the promos or some of our programs we'll be putting up now as well. So sit back and enjoy these promos for a minute. Now, there are some of the programs of the Limerick Historical Society. We have Dave Sheehan, who does Bringing Back the Smile, an excellent self-help type program, and on mental health and positivity and wellness and well-being and eating well and all of that. And I present that program here as an icon, so we'll have some more promos later on in the show. You can email us in here anytime at learmedia.tv if you want to participate in the show. You can send us in your email details and we'll send you out the link, and you're more than welcome to sit down here in the studio with myself and chat away about whatever comes into your head. And as we were saying, we're just going through the 5 candidates contesting the Tory leadership across the pond. As I said, the next debate for that particular carry-on will be on Tuesday. Next Tuesday at 8 o'clock on Sky News, 8 p.m. with Kay Burley and the 5 candidates. I suppose tomorrow being Sunday the 17th of July, it's hard to think that it's time for the All-Ireland final, because our traditions that we are, normally September would be these, but they've changed the calendar. So on tomorrow in Croke Park, we'll have an All-Ireland final, which can be unique in many ways, as all All-Ireland finals are anyway. It's between Kilkenny and Limerick. Now, Limerick could create history tomorrow if they go on to win it, because they're going for 3 in a row. It has never been done by, the 3 in a row in hurling as All-Ireland has only been done by 3 counties. Forgive me now if I get some of the dates wrong. It's all on top of my head. I have nothing written down for this, unfortunately. But the 3 counties that have done 3 in a row in hurling have been Cork, Tipperary and Kilkenny. And Kilkenny have done it twice, and Tipperary have done it twice, just the 3 in a row, and Cork have done it 4 times. I mean, obviously, I wouldn't have all the dates with Kilkenny and Tipperary. I know the one, Cork did it in 76, 77 and 78, and they were beaten in the 79 semi-final by Galway in a very, very wet, rainy day in Croke Park when they were going for 4 in a row. That was the Cork team of the 70, 76, 77 and 78. And they did it in 52, 3 and 4 as well. That's Cork. And of course, they had a huge gap then after 1954 up to 66 before they won the next All Ireland. And they won it then as well as in 41, 2 and 3. 1941, 2 and 3, and back in the 1890s. But the unique thing about that team, there was a player midfield on that team, Jack Lynch, who was a dual player. He won the three in a row with the hurlers in 41, 42 and 43. And he won the football in 44, and he won the hurling again in 1945. So he won 5 All-Ireland medals in a row. That is Jack Lynch. Of course, he went on to become Taoiseach. But getting back to tomorrow's game, Cian Lynch didn't make the panel, and he'll be a loss. But I mean, obviously they had to operate without him up to now. So notwithstanding that, they have strengthened the Limerick. Kilkenny are very tough, very physical team, strong team, tall team. So it'll be interesting to see how they're set up. I don't know, will they, as the line-outs were announced, I'm a small bit sceptical about Cody and Kylie. I think they'll reserve a few tricks up their sleeve for the thing. That's just my opinion on it, that the players that are picked in certain positions may not necessarily begin in those positions. I don't know. But obviously, I wish both teams the very best. That's Limerick and Kilkenny tomorrow. 3:30 throw-in, traditional time throw-in for Limerick, and looking to make history. I think they'll just get there. I think they will shade it. I think they'll be strong enough, you know. I think that's Limerick themselves. And really, win, lose or draw, it's a testament of the team. The Limerick team I'm talking about now. They won the All-Ireland in 2018, that bunch of lads. They were pipped in 2019. They won it in 20 and 21 and going for three in a row, 4 out of 5. They could have been 6 in a row, you know, when you look at the team. But it's win, lose or draw, it's an incredible achievement for any team in the amateur era, any team like that, to stay together, to stay enthusiastic, to stay healthy, to stay really in form as well, you know. But they've given us fantastic joy for hurling, for the whole country, really. And we wish them well. We're not taking away from Kilkenny, of course. Kilkenny will be very, very tough. But I expect the craft, the guile, the hurling, the skill of Limerick to win through. That's only my penny halfpenny. People will have different terms on it. As I said, we'll just look forward to a good game. There's no doubt about that. Anyway, you're with myself, Pat Barry, here on Inner Media, and I hope you're enjoying the few minutes. But I mean, obviously, we have our own sports program on Monday evening at 8 p.m, streaming out live with our panel, digesting all the sports stories over the weekend. And some of those obviously will contain the historic achievement by the rugby team, the Irish rugby team down under. They defeated New Zealand this morning by 32-22, and they won the second test, and so the third test, I mean, they won 2 out of 3, so they won the test series down under. The first time ever it has been achieved by an Irish team. It's some achievement, fantastic achievement. I didn't get to see the match live because I don't have Sky, and really, I don't know about these things myself. But anyway, that's a different conversation for a different time, a different day, because we know sport is all about money in many cases now, which is a sad reality, you know. I did get to see some of the World Athletics Championships, obviously, on streaming live in Oregon, but more about that on Monday night on our Sports View program with our panel. And as I said, it was a fantastic achievement for the Irish team. Some people have been measured in their, I would call it, in their assessment of the whole thing. Some of them would describe those matches as glorified friendlies. I don't know that. I certainly wouldn't think that New Zealand would write that off as glorified friendly, especially when they were beaten down under in their backyard. But look, really, you'll have a whole contrast of emotions straight after the match. But I think myself that it augurs well for that team. Some of them are at the other side of 30, but that doesn't matter. If you can play, you can play. It doesn't matter what age you are, you know. You look at Novak Djokovic in Wimbledon, winning a Grand Slam against Nick Kyrgios there last week, and really he's at the wrong side of 30 if you were to believe all the things about it, but nevertheless he overcame that. if you're good enough, you have skill, and if you're fit enough and you watch yourself, you can achieve anything at any age. That's the way I'll be looking at it. But obviously, that was an achievement for Ireland because but they have beaten the All Blacks before, but never down under did they win a series. And of course, I don't think the Lions ever won a series in New Zealand. Correct me if I'm wrong there. You can email me in here at info@lairmedia.tv. You can email me in here if you think I'm wrong, but I don't think I'm wrong in that either. But it augurs well. I think Ireland, the provisional rankings coming out next week, will put Ireland number one in the world because of their results, and they won't have far to travel for the World Cup. It's only over in France. So really, the omens are looking well. England, of course, as well. Must remember that they won the test as well down in Australia. They beat Australia down under. So the much maligned English team, and they are a very talented team. They have some fantastic players in that team as well. But they won the test this morning against Australia as well. And so there you go. We'll just take a little susbiog with some more promos. Well, indeed, there's some of the promos, some more promos coming up in sports. I said Monday night at 8 o'clock. We have the latest edition of My Story up on all our platforms since last night with the wonderful Debbie Deegan and chatting to Mary there on My Story about her phenomenal work with orphanages in Russia and her banquet with all the who's who in Russia and all the awards that she won. So check it out up on our Lear Media page, all our pages, all our platforms on Twitter, on Lear Media, and our YouTube channel as well. That's the wonderful interview with Debbie Deegan. If you have nothing good on telly, you can tune in and watch that. You'll be inspired, enthralled, and a little bit more, I suppose, of humanity coming across. Another poignant story during the week I've been following myself is the Roscommon man whose dog was due to be put down because of the allegedly biting of this lady, and I just reading there now, just there before I come on here, that he's written a final letter to the lady who was allegedly bitten by his dog to intercede and save his beloved Jack Russell. And we hope that'll work out, look, for all, and that common sense will prevail, because sometimes some of these stories are devoid of common sense. And really, I suppose, look, we can't say anything too much on personal stories like that, because we don't know how we would react if something happened to us, or if my dog, I don't have a dog at the moment, but if my dog allegedly bit someone, well, then the person that it's happening to obviously have a right to take recourse to, whatever steps they feel necessary, that and obviously there has to be an assessment done on these things. So look, I don't know how these things work myself, but I hope for our concern that there's a happy ending for everybody. I'm sure with common sense there would be. LearnMedia.tv is you're listening to here on all the stories here on Saturday night. And as I said, going back to I had some exchanges on my social media platforms this morning about our own Penny Halfpenny's worth of I suppose, who's favoured and who's not in the Tory race for prime. After all, I mean, not only are they going to become leader of the Tory party, they're going to become prime minister as well. So people are not just electing a political leader right now in the Tory party, they will be electing a new prime minister. And I think the final outcome of that is it won't be the outcome won't be known until September the 5th. I think that's what they're trying to bring that forward a bit because really that's a big gap. But anyway, the Boris Johnson, I suppose, had a legacy. He was a very effective London mayor for 2 terms, in my opinion. He did a lot of good. Every politician does some good, despite what people may have, what political leanings people may have, and I'd be a middle-of-the-road guy enough myself. And I think that he was an effective Prime Minister in many respects. He was highly regarded, highly intelligent, highly competent, and this nonsense about the COVID thing and all was just a media witch hunt. I mean, he was fined, he was investigated and fined like anybody would, breaking the rules, but, really, honest to God, really, there are worse things to be exercised over, in my opinion. The media would be well served. That's the media here as well in general, to focus on the serious, I suppose, in this country, in Ireland, the serious breakdown or potential breakdown of society in this country through poverty, through the affordability of putting bread on the table. Did I ever see? I'd say it in 2022 in this republic, coming up to the 100th anniversary of the killing of Michael Collins will be coming up in August, and the party is in power, one of the parties, and really and truly, I mean, the cost of living is out of all order. I mean, charities are out of money, charities that look after the people who are to be looked after. I read a statistic today in one of the social justice media pages. 40%, I think, it might be more, 40% of people at work, so to speak, that have a job are getting a social welfare payment of some kind. I mean, in 2022, I'll say that again, 40% of people at work are down some social welfare payment to supplement their measly income. It's a shocking indictment. People say to me, but Pat, we have full employment. Full employment with rents at between 1,500 and 2,000 a month. I mean, some of these jobs, I mean, you're talking about job in the fast food restaurant business. They're not jobs. They're okay for school kids and they're okay for students, but they're not okay for an actual husband and wife, a man who has a house and a mortgage and all. They're not real jobs, really, when you think about it. And also when you talk about the hospitality industry, they're crying every day they can't get people. Why don't they pay people and they'll get them? That's a serious issue as well. I mean, honest to God, I don't know with people. I don't know that myself. Maybe there's something else. And you go back to the Tory leadership. I suppose the frontrunners would be Penny Mordaunt, Liz Truss, and Rishi Sunak. And I think the top 2 will come out of those 3. That's only my penny halfpenny, but we'll see after Tuesday night again. Will it make any difference to the running order? It may tell a lot. I don't know. Everybody will be nervous at the first debate anyway. But that's Tuesday night at 8 o'clock will be the next debate for the Tory leadership contest. We look forward to have a bit of fun with that. Also, the British Open golf is going on at the moment as we speak. I think McIlroy is top of the pile going into the final round tomorrow. And we'll keep an eye on that as well. I think Shane Lowry's in the top 10, which is good. Shane, I think, is -7 as far as I know, or -8. I didn't check it now recently, but he was doing reasonably well. He went to -10 at one stage, but anyway, he's doing well. So it's good to see him. There's another Irish fella, young, and he operates in the second or third tier, but he's -5 as well. Young Casey from Dublin, I think, is from Dublin. But we'll be looking forward to that as well. As I said, don't forget to join us 8 p.m. Monday night on Sportsview. Martin Lennon as well presents an excellent TV and movie review, and all these programs, Mart's movie review and Mart's TV review, are up on our YouTube channel. You can check those as well. Dave Sheehan does a regular program, which is bringing back the smile, and also what's his name? My Story with Mary Owen, and I do some heroes and icons myself, which is a story which will be concentrating on famous people, heroes and icons in across the spectrum in the 19th and 20th century, who made American society, who left American society, who are remembered for what they did. So if you want to join us here anytime in the studio, info@learmedia is our email, and give us your details. You can join in anytime. So until we meet again, we leave you now with some, I suppose, some of our promos. So good evening, take care, and bye-bye.